Okay, so we're just waiting for Sissy now. I think we should wait like 1 more minute and then we'll start. And then today we'll be talking about like how to set up a case. It'll be super fun. I'm excited. Actually, while we're here, I noticed that there's some people that were here yesterday. So, um, Kelly, do you want to turn on your camera and introduce yourself? I want to hear how old you are, your favorite ice cream flavor, and your hobbies.
I'm 9 years old. My favorite ice cream flavor is mint chocolate chip,
Facts, me too. Okay.
and my favorite hobby is swimming or dancing.
Swimming and dancing. Okay, got it. So yesterday we put partners together and it's perfect because Easton also wasn't here. So if Easton would like to turn on your camera, do the same thing, your age, favorite ice cream flavor, and then your hobbies. I would. Did bro leave? Okay, well, it's fine. Yeah, okay. Now we can get into cases. So I can't believe bro left. That was very rude. No, it's okay. Let's see. I'm gonna share my screen and I want you guys to tell me if you can see me or like my screen, I guess, or not. Can you guys see? Can you guys see? Okay. So today we're gonna go over cases and I'm gonna try my best to so yesterday we talked about policy, fact, and value, right? So I'm gonna try to make 3 cases of all the different types. And I'm gonna show you from the affirmation and from the negation what that structure looks like. So this is a policy resolution. So we're gonna say policy from the and the resolution we're exploring today is the state of California should mandate electric vehicles by 2025. If you guys have any ideas for what we can say from this side, let me know, but I'll show you how to set this up. So right now we already have this resolution and we're going to go into framework. And essentially in your framework, you just have your criteria or an affirmation, you'll give your definitions. So you want to define, holy cow, you want to define mandate and you want to define electric vehicles. And I'll be shortening that as EVs. Okay, so now that you've done your definitions, let me just do this. It'll be after definitions, you're going to go and you're going to talk about your criteria. When it's a policy resolution, the criteria is always net benefits, which means the side that benefits the most amount of people in the round should win this debate, okay? So at the end of the day, whichever side, affirmation or negation, has a net most benefit wins the round. And this is what you should tell your judge. Because sometimes you're going to vote on the points and sometimes you're going to vote on the criteria. And you just want to make sure that this is clear. Okay. After this, you can go into your plan. You're going to have your plan or your mandate, I guess, which is, holy cow, okay. The state of California will mandate electric vehicles, or let's say EVs, by 2025. You're going to have your agent of action, which is the actor that's going to be actually doing this plan. And we're going to say California Department of Transportation in conjunction with private car manufacturers. So when I say manufacturers, it's going to be your typical like car brands, you know, like Honda, Mazda, Lexus, BMW, you know? A lot of these car manufacturers are already shifting towards green energy, so it like works together. your agent, actually, I forgot to write this. I know last time you guys are asking for abbreviation. So this is agent of action. And then you have agent of enforcement, which is essentially the actor that's going to be making sure that this actually happens. So, at school, you have your teacher, which is teaching you things, and then you have your principal that's making sure the teacher is teaching you things. The agent of action is the teacher, and the agent of enforcement is the principal. Does that make sense? If you have questions, just pop them in the chat, okay? And here we're going to do the federal state of, or Department of Transportation in conjunction with the Department of Energy. You can have multiple actors, but sometimes you want to only have one. Like obviously, if you're, let's say you have a resolution about like banning chocolate ice cream, well, you can have your actor be the Department of Health and Human Services, but you don't need it to be the Department of Agriculture. So just pick the one that's best. But here we need transportation and energy because transportation alone, it can just be a regular car. And energy alone, it may not have anything to do with cars, but together suddenly you have electric vehicles. Does that make sense? Okay, so after this, you have your funding. How much money do you need in order for this to happen? Well, electric vehicles are expensive. Let's say $50 billion. And the time frame, you always want to say now, okay? As the affirmative, you always want to say now, ASAP, things like that. So after your plan, now we're out of the framework, okay? We were out of the framework a long time ago. Now after your plan, you can go into your advantages, which is why your plan is actually doing good things and why you should win the criteria of net benefits. What's happening? Okay, it's fine. So you're gonna have advantage 1. And does anyone have any ideas why we should mandate electric vehicles by 2025? Go ahead and put them in the chat if you do. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to type. So Mirabelle says climate change. Very true. We'll talk about climate change here. Holy cow. Climate change. So under your advantage, you have 4 main parts. And number 1, uniqueness. Why does this matter now? Well, scientists estimate that by 2025, climate change will be irreversible. Okay, pretty easy. 1 sentence. And when you're speaking, you can always elaborate on this more. And feel free to do it in bullet points. I wrote the entire sentence because that's what works for me. But if you want to do bullet points like climate change bad, climate change kills, theft, okay, that's fine too. And then next, after uniqueness, you're going to have links, which is what is our plan doing to make sure that doesn't happen, right? Casting the plan means that we are shifting away from the main contributor of climate change. Now we have internal links, which is why does what the plan doing matter? Why does it matter, guys? Put it in the chat. I want to hear your ideas too. To make the world a better place. So that's something that we're going to put in the impacts, right? Remember what I said about the criteria? You want the judge to vote for you on the criteria. So that's how it's going to go. So internal links, we're going to say, for internal links, I like to do bullet points because it's a lot more than you're going to be writing for the uniqueness. So internal links, we're going to say that passing the plan, we're shifting away from my contribution a little bit. Okay, shifting. It's not letting me type. Okay, shifting away means that we can pursue greener energy, right? Which means that other sectors are going to change to green energy too. Less pollution equals saving wildlife. Okay. And in the interlinks, you can give some really sad example about how like polar bears no longer have like a habitat to live in. Ice is melting. Womp womp. Okay, this is really sad. Make sure to like, yeah, womp womp. Like make sure that like water works. Like not that dramatic, but you want to make sure that what you're saying is sticking to your audience. This is how you convince them. And like William said, now we have impacts. Brother. No. Okay, impacts. Makes the world a better place. But how? Well, California is a leading state in a leading country. When California mandates electric vehicles, other states will follow. Equals the entire country will change to EVs and green energy. And when that happens, we can see other countries start to follow suit too. Does that kind of make sense how we're doing this? Does anyone have any questions? Okay, I trust. Okay, so now you've kind of seen like what the framework of this entire case is going to be, right? And typically you want to have more than just one advantage. On the affirmation, I tend to have like 2 to 3, depends on how fast you like to talk. I'm gonna let you guys go in 15 minutes and you can take a 5-minute break and then we're gonna come back. Okay, 15 minutes and then 5-minute break. So now let's talk about the negation. How do I page break? Okay, so resolution. What was the resolution? CA should mandate EVs by 2025. Now, the negation structure for policy is going to be kind of similar, but this is how we do it. Framework. Instead of doing definitions, you don't have to do that. Criteria, net benefits. The criteria is always going to be the same, but if you ever run into a round where your criteria is different from your opponents, you want to say like, they presented this criteria of net benefits. I would like to propose utilitarianism instead. And here, and here's why you should prefer my criteria over theirs. Okay, but in policy, it's usually going to be the same criteria of net benefits. You can have a counter plan, but before that, you want to have a disadvantage. Wait, sorry, I'm kind of going back and forth. I forgot to put the. Can anyone think of a reason why we don't want to mandate electric vehicles? Is anyone typing? I can't tell. Yes, hooray, okay. Yes, Catherine, that's exactly it. Oh my gosh, I was hoping someone would get that, and that's exactly what it is. It's very unaffordable to many families, okay? So, unaffordable, very true. There's a lot of Teslas where I live. No more supercars and it's ugly. We'll talk about that in a little bit. If you want to be funny, you can say that. So, disadvantage number 1, unaffordable. Here you're going to see the same structure. So uniqueness. Oh, geez. Mandating EVs for every family is unaffordable for those below the poverty line and even those in middle class. The current price is unsustainable. And okay, actually, we're going to leave it at that because we're going to expand on the rest of it in the rest. So links. If the plan passes, the car industry, hold on, the transportation industry will take a huge hit. Interlinks. What happens when the car industry dies? If a lot of people can't afford to switch to electric vehicles, what's going to happen? What's going to happen in our day-to-day society? I want to see you put some more ideas in the chat. Car companies will fail. That's a good one. That's very true. Car companies fail. And what's another part of car companies? Their stocks. Stock market crash, just like we saw in the Great Depression. Suddenly you have a historical example and you can help the judge relate back to like how extreme it really is. Car companies fail. Car companies, big part of the economy. Economy takes, or what's the word? Economic recession. Yes, Kelly, people do lose their jobs too. That's just what I was getting at. So if there's an economic recession, people lose their jobs. And now we come to impacts. High unemployment, recession of 2007. That's not of Great Depression. And there's going to be economic instability. It kind of shows that the government is discriminating against people who can't afford electric vehicles. So we can say government is not transparent and favors the wealthy, equals decreases trust in government in the future. And why is that super important? Because right now is an election year. So if we lose trust in the government, election year of 2024 can cause people to vote a certain way. That's kind of what it is. You always want to tie back in politics because your judges are people who talk about these issues during dinner, like at the kitchen table. We call these kitchen table issues. Another example of kitchen table issues might be like gas prices or like what they're serving in schools, things like that, things that are impacting their day-to-day lives. And this is one of them. Because it is an election year, you always want to bring it up. Make sure that your judge can really relate to what you're saying. So now we've done our first disadvantage. You might have another disadvantage if you don't have a counterplan. But if you do have a counterplan, it'll look a lot like the plan. So you have your CP mandate. What should our counterplan be, guys? Any ideas? Yeah. See, so in sometimes or some situations, you're not always going to have a counterplan. So let's do the one that Catherine said, provide electric buses. The state of California will mandate electric buses. Okay, good idea. So now we have our agent of action, which is going to be CA Department of Transportation. Agent of enforcement is going to be Fed Department of Transportation and the Department of Energy. And our funding is going to be, pick a random number, it doesn't matter. We'll say 50 billion again. And time is now. A lot of times in your counter plan, you can choose another time. You can say 2026, anything, because it's your litigation. You can do whatever you want. Just be smart about it. But for now, we're going to say now. And just like in the affirmation side, you need to have an advantage to your plan. You have to prove why your plan is good and not just neutral. If possible, you always want to show that their plan, bad, your plan, good. But if all else fails, their plan is bad. You can stick to that. But I would like for you guys to have an advantage. So we're running out of time here, so I'm just going to give you the ideas and then you guys can think about it. This is going to be same benefits, no economic harm. So the uniqueness here, uniqueness, electric buses encourage public transportation and have the same environmental benefits as electric cars, but less reliance on personal vehicles that run on gas. Links. Why is your plan better than the affirmation plan? Okay. This is going to be, what did they say in the chat? Yes. So I'm going to actually put this in the internal links. Or I'm going to put Isaac's idea in the internal links. Exactly. You switch to electric. Buses are better than cars because more affordable. Brother, my spelling cannot be this bad. Because it's more affordable. And it strikes a balance between the poverty line and the higher classes. Okay, back to the links. Why is your plan better? When the plan passes, or when the counter plan passes, we encourage public transportation, which is more beneficial to help stopping climate change than the AF plan. And then you go to impacts. We'll call on. What should our impacts be? Yes. So I'm going to put that in the impacts. Oh, what happened? Okay, my camera just turned off. I don't know how to turn it back on because I'm sharing my screen. So, oh, I figured it out. Okay, so can't be reused as fast as we need it to. So you want to think about the distinction between your plan and the affirmation plan, right? The affirmation, electric cars, your plan, electric buses. Of course, this impact is very good and very true about why gas is bad, but this can also be used for the affirmation side, right? So we want to think about why electric buses in general, specifically, are better than electric cars. But you can think on that. I think this is a good impact, which means that buses travel farther distances and can be used for many purposes for many people. And here you can reference, like in San Francisco, you have BART, which is their like high-speed rail system. I think it's called BART. Okay. Or you can talk about the New York subways. Right? You want to have these examples so people can compare it to something or your plan to something. It is cheaper. Yes, more affordable, which we talked about here. Okay. I hope this structure is kind of making sense. I'm going to send this doc in the WeChat after class, but we still have to get through fact and value. But once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy. So I'm going to let you guys go on break. I want you guys back here in 5 minutes. So for me, it's 7:32. Okay, bye. See you in 5 minutes.